Way too deep. I don't know if anybody in here is a fan of Future, but one of my favorite songs he put out, Into Deep. Into Deep. Yo, Future and Drake. This is how I feel about the Denver Nuggets. You want to talk about winning with style, with panache, with being able to have counters for what other teams are doing. The Nuggets are showing signs. They might not be having all of the right ingredients making the perfect meal yet, but they're showing signs that when push comes to shove and the season gets later, they're going to have a special concoction of talent that's going to help them to win an NBA championship. I want to talk about why the Minnesota Timberwolves game last night was so telling of a potentially great team. This is Swiper, and this is Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nuggets. This is your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. I hope you're having a spectacular day. I hope that you're enjoying your Tuesday, that you have a great night tonight, that you enjoy the NBA basketball. I hope everything's going well for you as you get ready for all the holidays we have coming up, and we got October, so obviously got Halloween coming up. You got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. You got New Year's coming up. This is a very busy time of the year, so I hope that you spend it with the people that you love most. Y'all, this is going to be a phenomenal episode, so make sure that you all the way tap in and get real comfortable. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Y'all know what time it is, man. The Nuggets, there's something special in the air. The Nuggets, there's something new in the air. There's this feeling that is emanating from the roster and from the team. When Christian Brown spoke in the offseason that we know we have what we need. Now it's just about going out and doing. When Jamal Murray talked about this idea, we know what the goal of this team is. It's about the process and enjoying the process along the way. When you look at the things that the Denver Nuggets have in front of them, they haven't played an A game to start the year. They haven't. Even with the Minnesota Timberwolves game last night, y'all, I thought it was a very good game. There were some very good things to take away from the game last night for the Nuggets, but they definitely had multiple moments that they could have absolutely put the game away a lot earlier than they did. But the thing about NBA basketball early in the year is you have to continue to find ways to win early, and especially when you're playing versus a team that has their own advantages because they were shooting super well. I noted this on my show last night. Jaden McDaniel had 25 points going into the fourth quarter. 0 in the fourth quarter. 0. Now, in large part, I got to thank my boy, who I'm going to talk about here in a minute, Payton Watson. Everybody knows how I feel about Payton Watson. Everybody knows what I want for Payton Watson, and he was a big reason why the Nuggets won that game yesterday. But one of the things that I think you all need to pay attention to that I think is important. Remember last year, reflect on last season. Jokic versus the Clippers early in the year, 41 points in the first game. He tries to bait the three-point foul. They don't make it. The Nuggets end up losing that game. But he has a spectacular year, obviously, 29.6, 12 rebounds a game, 10 assists a game, going crazy. But then if you remember through January, December, like the Wizards game, Jokic had 56 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists, I believe. And it's like they lose. Jordan Poole is like uncoverable. They don't have options off the bench to be able to respond to these runs. I mean, you got bench players for other teams that are given real minutes that are destroying the Nuggets in the backcourt. And no matter what happens, no matter how well Jokic played last December, last January, they just didn't seem to have the juice to stop these other teams or even to contend with these other teams. And I just want to remind people of just what was happening last year. So last January in 14 games, Jokic was averaging 32, 13, and 8. And over that stretch, y'all, he was shooting 56-45 splits. 56-45 splits. He had 27, 20, and 11 versus Cleveland. They got beat. He had 56, 16, and 8 versus Washington. They got beat. If you just remember these games, Jokic was having phenomenal games, but they just didn't matter because the team couldn't find a way to win. And one of the things that has changed this year, that you feel this year, that I hope you all are feeling this year, is that now, very similar to OKC, hey, no J-Dub. Okay, well, here's A.J. Mitchell. A.J. Mitchell's able to come into the game, give you really key off-the-bounce possessions, create off the dribble, spot-up shooting. He's able to be an outlet for SGA. When you watch what the Pacers are and you get a chance to see, hey, Nembhard playing off of Hallie, Aaron Nesmith playing off of Hallie, and then even this year they're getting last year especially in the playoff, but then now they're getting very valuable minutes from Benedict Mathurin. One of the things you want in the league is to have options and versatility, that if a team is keying in on the thing you do best, how can you counter that? And the answer yesterday was Tim Hardaway Jr. and Payton Watson. Tim Hardaway Jr. and Payton Watson changed the game yesterday because what they offered the Nuggets an opportunity to have responses and answers to the things that the Minnesota Timberwolves were trying to do to them. And just so you understand how good Tim Hardaway Jr. was yesterday, just on this game, he had most of his possessions. So 36% of Tim Hardaway Jr. possessions yesterday, they were playing in a spot-up role. And yesterday, in spot-up, Tim Hardaway Jr. was hitting 1.80 points per possession on every single spot-up possession that he had yesterday. 1.80. Again, the translation in a 100-possession game, that's you scoring 180 points in 100 possessions, which is obviously would be the greatest offense in any sport of all time. But the thing that Tim Hardaway Jr. did was he gave the Nuggets legitimate outlets that even when the plays were broken, he was able to utilize his shooting gravity, his ability to move off the ball, and his ability to move around Jokic, his ability to move off of Jamal Murray. He was using all of his skills to help break the Minnesota Timberwolves defense. Because you know what happened yesterday, y'all? The Nuggets would have lost this game without Tim Hardaway Jr. and Payton Watson, like I said, who we'll talk about in a minute. Well, then swipe. But the question is, how could Jokic have 25 points on 9 of 10 shooting and 7 of 7 from the free throw line with 19 rebounds and 10 assists, and you lose? And then the next part of that is, how could Jamal Murray have 43 points, be completely unguardable? He shot 16 of 29 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3, and 6 of 7 from the free throw line. So he shot a 55, 56, 86 split game, and he was a plus 30. So how in the world would they have lost with Jokic and Murray giving you as many points as they got last night? Again, y'all, they scored 68 points between the two of them. Between the two of them, they had, 13 assists and 22 rebounds. And they shot uber efficient, 25 of 39. How would they have lost? Well, because when you bring around really elite players, and especially the way Jamal's played this year, role players and high IQ veterans who know where they're supposed to be because they understand the moment, they've been here before, who are able to play off of gravity and court mapping. JJ Redick talks about court mapping all the time when he had his podcast. When you're able to understand who's on the floor, where the defense is going, and then how you need to be able to kind of work as an opposite leg. Like if you ever watch like the way weights will work when you're trying to like balance a system or a bridge, like you got to be able to have weight that helps you to be able to make sure you can have stabilizing forces on the other end, because you got to have equal weight distribution in order to make things work. And what happens is when you're on the court, Jokic and Murray two-man game, well then the defense is collapsing on the interior or they're collapsing to a side of the floor. So Tim Hardaway Jr. is able to be in a space where he can get the ball, dribble, boom. Or if they're trying to put 2 on Jamal Murray, well then Tim Hardaway Jr. is like, cool, there's no center at the rim because the center's guarding Jokic. Jamal has 2, so he's occupying 2. So now all I got to do is run a DHO with Jokic. He gets the ball, hesitation, nobody's there, dribble to the rim. He gets the ball, another layup. So I really, really love just how much intelligence Tim Hardaway Jr. played with. And if you've listened to me at all this year, one of the things I've really tried to harp on for people is that it's going to take time to see really good games from Tim Hardaway Jr., from Jonas Valanciunas, and from Cam Johnson, and even Bruce Brown. But the way the game script went yesterday, Tim Hardaway he got to a place where there was just nothing. There was nothing that the Minnesota Timberwolves could do to counter just how hot he got. And on the other side, I'm going to talk about some plays very specifically that I think really point to why the adding of Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to be so big for this team this year. And so I'm telling y'all, lock in, get ready. Segment 2, we're going to finish the talk about Tim Hardaway Jr. Y'all know what time it is. The NBA is back. And there is no better place to get on the action than on FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of a game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth-quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps the game exciting, every game more exciting, and especially when your team is making that late push. So right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And y'all, basketball season's officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real. Getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, prices that jump right before checkout, it is easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in. The app that gives fans the advantage. It's for ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. Now, if you want to go to Denver Nuggets games and you want to make sure you get good seats and you want to make sure that, look, I worked hard for my money. I don't want to give up all of my money to all of these different fees that I wasn't expecting. I'm expecting to get good seats for my family. It's Christmas time coming up. You want to give something good to your kids or to a loved one. Game Time is where it's at because you see what exactly you're going to pay. There's no hidden fees at checkout, and you can look exactly and see what seats you're going to get before you buy them. And their zone deals are game changers because if you pick the section, Game Time picks your seats, and you save big. And you can even find NBA tickets for under $25. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKDOWNNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. We'll be right back for segment 2 of Locked On Nuggets. We are back for segment 2 of Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. We are building this community up to 15,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If you want to hear more great content by Ryan Blackburn, more great content by Matt Moore, more great content, hopefully, from Swiper, make sure you subscribe. If you're listening to this on the audio side, make sure you give us a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple iTunes. That way more and more people can listen to the great content being made here at Locked On Nuggets. So, Tim Hardaway Jr., there are some very specific plays that I want to talk about that ended up turning the tide on the game yesterday. So, there was a moment with Tim Hardaway Jr. yesterday. The score is 34-31, and the Nuggets have a very small lead, 34-31. It's 11 minutes and 21 seconds left on the clock. You got Murray on the court, Bruce Brown on the court, Aaron Gordon, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Jonas Valanciunas. And Jonas Valanciunas has been carrying a lot of the weight for the second unit, and especially because when you have a favorable matchup on the inside, you want to use Jonas' strength and his touch to win those matchups. So Tim Hardaway Jr., he gets the ball on the left side, and then he's able to work off of the fact that Julius Randle is fronting Jonas Valanciunas because Jonas is so much bigger than him. If you can deny the entry pass, then you can keep him from getting post position to score at an uber efficient rate around the rim. So Tim Hardaway Jr. sees this. Dante DiVincenzo plays too high on his court side. So court side, if he's on the left side of the field, your court side is going to be your right shoulder facing the basket, and then your baseline side, it's going to be the other opposite side. So he gets too high on his court side shoulder. Tim Hardaway Jr. dribbles around him. Julius doesn't want to switch it because Jonas would obviously destroy Dante DiVincenzo in a mismatch. He then gives him 3 feet worth of room. So Tim Hardaway Jr. gets it, pull up, bucket. 35-31. Tim Hardaway Jr. then again, after a score from Minnesota. The score is 67-75. The game is tilting. There's 8 minutes left. 8 minutes and 40 seconds left from the third quarter. It's 67-75. Jokic is bringing the ball up. Tim Hardaway Jr. sets a 2-5 screen, because at this time he's playing the 2 position for the Denver Nuggets. He sets a 2-5 screen on Rudy Gobert at the 3-point line. Again, understanding the court, understanding the situation, the Minnesota Timberwolves are deathly afraid of giving up a mismatch to Jokic. Jokic has already been cooking Rudy Gobert and cooking their interior defense. So Dante DiVincenzo doesn't want to switch out on Jokic. Rudy doesn't want to give up the mismatch to Dante. And then Rudy then says, I have to slow play this. That way Jokic doesn't get an easy drive to the basket. So then what they do is they overplay. Dante sinks into Jokic. Rudy sinks with Jokic and Dante. And then they reset. Jokic sets a touch-and-go screen for Dante. Again, Rudy doesn't want to commit because he has to stay attached to Jokic until it's a clear-out pick and roll on the right-hand side of the court. And then he plays a wonderful slow play, hesitation as if he can throw it back to Jokic. Rudy bails. He gets a free look at the rim for a layup. Great possession. And then literally, when you watch him do this, you're just kind of like, huh. Like, this is why having a veteran matters. This is why having players that understand the court and understand what it is they're supposed to be doing, and they understand what's being asked of them, is so important. Because when you get opportunities like he has this year, it's a game changer. Because you got to have players that continually know exactly where they need to be at all times. At all times. So just a phenomenal game from him. Again, like one of the other plays that I really want to highlight in this game is that we get another opportunity on a horn set. And the horn set is maybe my favorite set that the Nuggets use. This time AG's bringing the ball up. You got Jamal Murray and Jokic that are sitting right on the free throw line at the nail area. And then in this instant, they run the play. Jamal Murray gets the ball. They set a double drag for Jamal Murray, which means you got AG and Jokic set a screen for Jamal. Jamal then peels around to the left side of the court. They are able to reach out the play. Jokic gets it at the nail. And then Jokic then runs an empty side clear out pick and roll with Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway gets the rub. Dante's trailing. He uses the hesitation again in the middle of the floor to get Dante on his hip. Gets all the way to the rim, floater. And so the question is, why is this such a big deal? Like, why am I noting all these plays? Well, because he scored 15 points in the third quarter to change the game. So then on another one, 73-78. This is all the Nuggets getting back into the game. Christian Brown kicks the ball out to Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray drives and collapses the defense on the right side. And Tim Hardaway Jr., his man is stuck on Rudy Gobert. He floats to the corner, wide open three, bucket. So, and then 81, this is the last one. He gets fouled on another jump shot. He hits the free throws. This is the last one I'll note. My favorite play of the day. The Nuggets run a double drag for Jamal Murray. Tim Hardaway Jr. is the first setter, screen setter. Jokic is the last one, because this is all about getting mismatches. So you get mismatches on either Jamal. Now Julius is on him. Jokic rolls off that screen action. He passes it out to Aaron Gordon, and then resets up top to Tim Hardaway Jr. Wide open, top of the key three, bucket. The Denver Nuggets go up 92-87, and from that point on, they continue to move forward. Tim Hardaway Jr., 15 points in the third quarter. Jamal Murray, 23 points in the third quarter. And why is this so important? Because last season, the Nuggets did not have players that they could go to that in high leverage, critical moments of the game, they could get easy looks, that understood how to utilize the change of speed technique that Tim Hardaway used yesterday to understand exactly what the situation's asking of him. And then Christian Brown was not having a good game. He was not having a good game. So the Nuggets, instead of forcing the issue, they were able to put a veteran in the game who is a lower usage player. So that's the difference between Russell Westbrook and Tim Hardaway. Russ is not a very good, like, off-ball player as a shooter or scorer. But what he did do is be able to create a lot of leverage advantages towards the rim. But Tim is just a wildly different player. So then now when you get so much action towards the basket, Tim Hardaway Jr. literally is like, he's just able to work off of it. And it means so much for the way the team is going to perform. So I'll wrap this up in the third segment, and then I'll get to Payton Watson. Because again, those are like the biggest storylines for me of why yesterday was such a great game. We'll finish the Tim Hardaway Jr. segment on the other side here at Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, if you're a business owner, here's the truth. Like, SaaS promise to make work easier. But now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS. That's sad. Software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is a unified platform for global PR, payroll, IT, and finance, all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. Look, everything from onboarding to payroll to IT access, it runs automatically and perfectly in sync with Rippling. And whenever you want to run your entire HR, your IT, your finance operations as one, just to fill the gaps in your software stack, Rippling can do it all. So right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. Learn more at rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. That's rippling.com/LockedOnNBA for 6 months free. Also, let's be honest, most of us can't even name all our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth. Between 401ks, savings, investments, it's easy to lose track. And that can mean leaving money on the table. That's why I started using Monarch, all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Again, y'all, I have talked about Monarch for a while now. I have used Monarch for years, literally, personal experience. Monarch has saved me so much money. When I find that there are things that come out of my account that I wasn't expecting, I'll check my Monarch app, and it will literally tell me. It will tell me exactly where my money went, who took it, and why. So tap into Monarch. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. We'll be back for the final segment here at Locked On Nuggets. We are back for the final segment here at Locked On Nuggets. Again, y'all, I just want to note, man, like I said, Tim Hardaway Jr., it's not just the box score stuff. It is how the floor opened up for the rest of the Nuggets when he was on the floor, but also how, when he's there, it gives them a real outlet that they can trust. Because this year they go into the playoffs and teams are converging on the Jokic paint gravity, or they're converging on the two-man game. Well, look, now the corner release, the wing release, if you over-rotate to Jokic, Gordon, and Murray, Tim Hardaway Jr. can be your backside threat. But Payton Watson, y'all, changed the game as well. So Payton yesterday, he only shot the ball 6 times. He was 4 of 6 from the field, but he was 2 of 2 from 3 yesterday. And if you have paid attention to Payton Watson, what he's doing is simply allowing for the game to come to him. And that by itself is something that I think is really aiding this roster. And yesterday, Payton was literally the only chance they had to be able to get any real stops defensively on Jaden McDaniel. Jaden McDaniel yesterday was having his way. He was having his way yesterday. But Payton came into the game, offered a very similar level of length and athleticism, and in the fourth quarter especially, really limited Jaden. And if you remember the isolation play that Payton Watson had on Jaden McDaniel yesterday, he got a block on a jump shot. And nobody else, Christian Brown included, had been able to guard him at all. Like, at all. And so he really he allows them to have so much more versatility. Again, at the top of the fourth quarter, there were 8 minutes and 30 seconds left. Terrence Shannon Jr. tries to pass the ball to Mike Conley. Payton Watson uses his length. He simply breaks up the pass. He's able to get to the rim and finish over Mike Conley, puts him up 106 to 101. And then on the outlet pass, they get back in transition after Aaron Gordon gets a block on Julius Randle. Jamal Murray brings the floor up. You get a cut through from Aaron Gordon, and because Tim Hardaway Jr. has been absolutely cooking, the Timberwolves, they react to Tim Hardaway. It's a swing to Payton Watson, and he buries the corner three. Puts him up 114 to 101. So, I mean, just again, like, if you just watch this game, it's just like you're getting more and more really high-level plays from Payton Watson. And you're seeing him figure out the game in real time, and his IQ continues to expand. And the thing that is really David Adelman and the rest of the roster that you're trying to do is you're trying to get him the ball more as an offensive player, and it's because you want to develop those skills. It's the same thing, like I said, I'm going to keep bringing this up, to Victor Wembanyama, to Jeremy Sohan, to Amin Thompson. It's how do you get your best athlete the ball so they can see over the top of the court, and then from there be able to disperse as a passer, get gravity generating going towards the rim. That way he can pass it off to Jonas Valanciunas or Jokic, or he can just score at the rim. Like, he's doing a lot of different things. And so I'm really, really, really excited about his continued development. But I'm also just really, like, grateful for several things. One, that Payton Watson has been willing to take the coaching, because that's a big part of the NBA. At some level, you have to be willing to take coaching. You got to be willing to take criticism. You have to be willing to say, I'm not good enough. And if you remember, Payton Watson in the 2023 playoff didn't play at all. He was a rookie. But in the 2024 playoffs, didn't play a lot. He was an offensive liability in all of the worst ways. And then last year, he played a lot. They had to use his defense. He had some really good moments. But again, he's still like so far away that he's just not a real offensive threat. And defensively, he wasn't offering enough value consistently enough to get in real time. But now we're in year 3 for Payton Watson. Or year 4 for Payton Watson. And he has just continued to accelerate his understanding of the game. Continue to accelerate knowing where he needs to be on the floor and not trying to, like, force too many opportunities. And yesterday, I haven't even brought it up because I just, I really want to highlight the players off the bench that turned the tide. But like I said, Christian Braun did not play a good game. And I don't know, in a Wolves series, I don't know how playable he will consistently be, because, again, one of the things I noted just a couple weeks ago, that one of the things Christian has to do is he has to get his three-point volume up, because you can't be so reliant on trying to score in the paint versus a team that is literally anchored by one of the best paint defenders we've ever seen in the sport in Rudy Gobert. And Jaden McDaniels is there. He's also a really long, rangy athlete himself. And so Payton missed a buttload of just wide open looks yesterday. A lot of them. He missed multiple layups yesterday. He missed multiple three-pointers yesterday. And then he threw the lob to Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon didn't make it, and then he ends up breaking a three. So remember, there was that stretch in the first quarter where the Nuggets were up 12, and then all of a sudden they went cold. Cam Johnson was bad. Christian was bad, and they let him go on an 8-0 run. And that kind of almost lost him the game. But if you just look at, like, the way they were playing, they needed other people to step up. And like I said, Payton Watson did such a great job of filling in for Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson played 19 minutes yesterday. He was just 2 of 5 from the field. He had 2 turnovers. He was a -14. Now, to be fair, Cam has been on the plus side of the plus-minus in most of the preseason games, regular season games. He just is, like, still finding his way. When he made his first 3, I was like, okay, like, maybe this can be the game where he gets his rhythm. I thought he played well versus the Suns, but he didn't play well yesterday versus the Wolves. And he got the closeout, reckless foul on a three-point shot that he just didn't need to close out that way. He had the turnover in transition. Again, just the missed shots. It's just not all the way there. But the thing that's different this season about Denver is that if he's struggling, well, hey, Bruce Brown, you can get in there and you can go after it. Hey, Payton Watson, you can get in there, you can go after it. Hey, Tim Hardaway Jr., you can get in there and go after it. And shout out Spencer Jones. Spencer Jones, to his credit, that dude is a hellacious defender. And they put him in the game at the end of the second quarter to get stops. Now, he's very aggressive, which I don't mind at all. He got a foul call right before when the ball was not inbound yet, so it led to a technical free throws for the Wolves. But when you look at Spencer's aggressiveness, like, you love it. You want to live with that. So the Nuggets are clearly trying to build a defensive identity. They're clearly trying to find players that are able to be like those aggressive defenders. And I think when you look at somebody like Payton Watson, he covers that really well. When you look at somebody like Spencer Jones, he covers that really well. But the thing that Payton is truly adding to his game, like I said, is the ball handling, it's the creation, being elite in transition. That has to be number one. And then being able to hit enough threes that if you're ball handling, they play drop coverage, you got to shoot that ball. When you're off the ball and you're a three-point shooter, you got to be able to make those at a high enough clip, and they can't leave you open. And he's kind of like, it's just piece by piece every week. You're building into that. So obviously, we wish we'd have got a better game from Christian Brown. Wish you get a better game from Cam Johnson. But the thing they had this year, they didn't have last year, is Tim Hardaway Jr. and Payton Watson being able to come into the game and swing the game. By the way, y'all, after the show, if y'all want more information on like some of the basketball nuances, play type data, or just anything, like any of the number stuff, please make sure you ask us. We would love to be able to provide it. And you can ask me specifically. I would love to be able to provide it for you. I know that adds so much to your watch experience when you're just watching through basketball. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Give us a 5-star review, y'all. That's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Nuggets. Again, I want to highlight Tim Hardaway Jr. and Payton Watson swung the game yesterday. Y'all, we'll be back for more. Matt and Ryan will be with you. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all, my folk, love y'all. See y'all on the other side.